everybody. Welcome back to another Just Enough Heshy show. And, of course, my co-host, Rachel. I don't know where she is. Late again. This week, we're going to have an interesting show, everybody. I have a wonderful new co-host guest. His name is Elliot Resnick. I'm going to tell you all about him. He's the chief editor of the Jewish Press. And he told me he's not going to make fun of me. I don't believe him for a second. You know the press is all crazy. And my buddy Henry over there in the corner. Say hello, Henry.
Hey, Shalom.
And Elliot, I forgot to ask you to say hello.
Hello, how are you?
By the way, I have to tell you the rule. Henry knows the rule. Every week after my commercials, and I know I know you listeners are getting sick of hearing this, but I don't care. Somebody's going to laugh at my joke before I die. So every week I have a quote and a joke. Nobody laughs at it. I'm hoping you're one of the good, even though last week I did think somebody laughed at it. It's pretty good. Everybody else likes it during the week. Anyways, everybody, this is the Just Enough Heshy show. You can call into the show at 718-303-9090. And my wonderful Watch the Wire, Rachel, just showed up, as always, on time late. But she's wonderful. And she's going to scream into the mic, hello, Leah. And she brought me a coffee, too.
No,
Leah,
we brought you homemade soup.
Homemade soup. Wow, on the show. Rachel, say hello to Mr. Resnick. He likes you.
Hello, Mr. Resnick.
He said you're a very nice person. I'm in the middle of introducing the show. Anyways,
like opinions also.
So we have the, we're going to have the quote and the joke, but you can call into the show at 718-303-9090. Ask Mr. Elliot Resnick anything you want. He's from the Jewish Press. Also, you can ask me and Rachel anything. You can watch our show on Just Enough Heshy, Twitter, Facebook, Just Enough Heshy, YouTube, Just Enough Heshy, and you can call me in or text me on my private cell number 718-288-7844, 718-288-7844, or you can call into the show at 718-303-9090. Anyways, did I get everything, Rachel?
Is that Elliot?
Yeah.
Wow. Hello. Welcome to the show, Elliot Resnick.
Well, before let me can I do the commercial so we can start the show?
We always have to do this, don't we? There has to be some sort of argument to get the
What argument?
people to be speaking.
What argument? Am I the boss?
You're definitely Big H.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you. They call me Big H. At least I have 101 nephews and nieces. I'm going to have grandchildren. I don't want to be called Uncle Heshy. I want to be called Uncle Heshy. I've been called Uncle Heshy forever. But now I need a name that coordinates my nephews, nieces, and my grandchild. So I figured, like, you know how these big Texas guys, they have a ranch? So, and, they're called Big Daddy and stuff like that. So I'm going to be called Big H.
Good for you.
Okay, and
It's almost like BH. I always have to bring in God, even though you say
God,
that, right?
help me. Wow,
that's why I
well,
enjoyed
who
it
you
last
turn to
week.
for help? I'm not allowed to bring in God, but you say, God, help me.
Wow. Okay, anyway.
That's why I enjoyed listening to you last week.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
For that reason.
Wow, blast from the past. Elliot's dad was the Lubavitch Rebbe's doctor, so we have to do a shout out for him.
Are you going to let me do the commercials?
Eventually.
Anyways, I want to shout out to my granddaughter, Mira Nava. She's on a cruise. I'm very unhappy about that. And, of course, Elliot, my friend, is another Elliot that I do some favors for. A very nice man. He even got on my Just Enough Heshy WhatsApp group and texted such a nice thing about me. I was embarrassed. Anyways, we have Chamula Jewelers.
That's right.
Oh, wow, you got a ring from them.
And look her makeup.
Oh, wow, beautiful.
By
Tehila Tishler. Wow, you see, these are one of our people. You're going to hear all about them. Chamula Jewelers, they're family-owned business for over 40 years, specializing in diamond engagement rings, eternity bands, and diamond jewelry. Or just bring your old jewelry to redesign or freshen up. Chamula Jewelers.
We've got the sparkle for you.
You got it right. We've got the sparkle for you. They're located at 944 Kings Highway, 718-336-1980. Tehila Tishla, my favorite daughter-in-law, which is really one of my two favorite daughter-in-laws. TTStyles.com, TEETEESTYLES.com. Call us 718-675-6842, 718-675-6842. Hair, wigs, makeup. She's really getting really good, guys. Really,
Look
women.
how beautiful.
Right, look how gorgeous
looks.
If you were following us on YouTube and Facebook, you'd see how pretty my girl is. And you should move over. You should be in the camera. Anyways,
She brings out the
she
beauty
brings out.
in you.
Yes, what does Tehila Tishla do?
Bring out the beauty in you.
Tehila Tishla, 718-675-6842. And then, of course, we have technical difficulties. My friend Avi Fleischer, a wonderful guy, 1504 60th Street, fixes your computers. This week, he fixed all my computers. Again, I don't know what happened. 718-259-4593, 718-259-4593. Now, I want you to hear this, Elliot. There's a guy called Sam. He has a barbershop on 18th Avenue and East 2nd, 777 Barbershop, located at 4225 18th Avenue. The man has a handicap ramp. He takes handicap. There's a hospital down the block. He lets them come in and charges them $5, $10 for haircuts. He gives senior citizen discounts. I watch how he works. He's so busy, and he takes these special cases and he stops people right in the middle. 777 Barbershop Sam, 4225 18th Avenue. Call for an appointment. And even when I call, I'm willing to wait when he does these special events. 777 Barbershop, 718-484-2499. And then, of course, we have $25 car renter, which my dear Rachel needs a desperate car. $25 car rental car on 18th Avenue and Coney Island Avenue. You can get into a car Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, stay in it for the same price, $25 as long as you want. They help bill your insurance company if you have an accident. Minivans are $35. 718-851-2000, 718-851-2000. If you want to call them on the 800 number, it's 800-2495-2495, which means $24.95. Got it? And of course, we have Green Line Building Solutions. That's my place.
I thought of a new line for you. First of all, I have a question for you on the radio. Did the same person write all the all the advertisements? Wow, I got tongue-tied there for a minute.
It's me.
It's you. People, yeah. All right. So one has the sparkle for you. One brings out the beauty for you. And Green Line Building Solutions has the building solution for you.
Anyways, Green Line Building Solutions, 718-871-0382. You could just walk in today. Elliot will tell you people just walked in. Here's a witness. People just come and say hello and come into my place. 718-871-0382. We're located on the corner of 16th Avenue and 54th Street. We do fire department violations, DEP violations, building department violations. We help your plans, your permits, your vacate orders, your stop work orders, anything you need for me to try to beat the city, come. I've been doing pretty good. Sometimes I get a little depressed, Rachel, because these building inspectors are wacko crazy. Yes, Rachel. And yes, Elliot, I fight this city that has no control. And you're going to see when I run for councilman, I'm going to make people answer. I'm going to put those building department, and I'm going to go after these 312 government agencies. I'm going to be one of 51 council members that will filibuster and stop this. Call Green Line Building Solutions to your future councilman. I'm going to run head-to-head against Councilman, I don't know where Councilman Carmen-Yeager is, because I don't know where he is.
You're going to run. Everyone's just going to get out of your way.
I hope they do.
They're going to know that you're going to vote for me.
Elliot was making fun of me today in the interview. He says, nobody voted for you. I said, Elliot, you're right.
Go ahead.
Anyways.
I know that Elliot
can I finish the
writes really well, but you don't know what I know, that he also speaks really well. So can we share the mic with him tonight?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Well, when it comes down to Green Line Building Solutions here.
Right, Green Line Building Solutions. We help you with violations, vacate orders. So I was a little depressed. The inspector gave me a very hard time. And then I got a call. I took in 2 girls of about 5 years ago. They were out of school, and they straightened themselves up. We've graduated high school. Yes, my 2 girls, they're not mine, but I got them to graduate. One went to seminary, is in seminary now. The other one graduated seminary, got a job, and she calls me up and she says, Uncle Heshy, you're not going to believe it, I'm engaged. I'm so happy. I got another one hitting the marriage thing, a young girl, and she gives me all the credit. I don't give the credit. She did it all herself, but all she needed was a little push, and that's what I do in my building, my business. I give you a guide. I show you. If you want to listen to me, I'll get you to the finish line. If you don't want to listen to me, I won't get you there. 718-871-0382. Call me for all your building needs, anything you want. I have one more. My friend Faggy Fallon. She has a company called Fallon Corp. They have beautiful clothing for adults and teenagers. They're just located at 3132 Bedford Avenue. Just a very good company, very nice stuff. 3132 Bedford Avenue. You should go in there for it. She has beautiful clothing for adults, teens, and children. I like her. Her phone number is 347-693-9908. 347-693-9908. Henry, what do you got to say?
So about Green Line Building Solutions here, 2 questions for you. One, where's your
office?
I
forgot about Wolf's Grocery.
Oh,
he's my friend.
That's right.
Wolf's Grocery.
Right on Nostrand.
Right on
When's the
Nostrand.
show coming up?
Right now. 718-252-1863. 718. I know you're bored of these commercials.
No,
somebody's got to pay for the show. 718-252-1863. Located at 2362 Nostrand Avenue. Wonderful people. They deliver for you. He's my friend. Again, you can call into the show 718-303-9090. Go ahead. Tell me about Green Line is located at 16th Avenue and 54th Street.
16th and 54th.
5318 16th Avenue.
Now, here's my question for you. So I deal with a lot of homeowners, as we discussed over the summer. So DOB violations, was something you can deal with, like expediting.
I have my own, not only expediting, I have my own in-house lawyer, 3 architects, three drafters. We get you from, we're a full house, full boutique shop that has everything in-house.
I just meet so many families that want solar panels, but they have an open DOB violation from like 20 years ago. They don't even know
That's
about
what I
it.
do. Violations, closings. I help people, lawyers now that are calling me that the banks won't close their properties without a guy like me helping them. And I come up with the hard people with big trouble come and call me up.
We're going to talk off air.
We're going to talk over right
Actually,
now. I got to do the quote joke.
Before you do the joke, I had a backup joke since you say every week
No,
that nobody laughs at your jokes.
Right.
You know how they say don't air your dirty laundry in public? So I get to air everyone else's dirty laundry. And I think that's pretty funny.
Oh, that was the joke?
Yeah.
Oh,
Now you know what it feels like, right?
I do.
Yeah, so listen to bad jokes.
I am in trouble. Anyways, here's my quote, and this quote, I had a different quote of the day, but I made this new quote the last minute, and this is for Elliot, because Elliot, I want you to know, when I was talking to you this afternoon, I want you to understand who I am, I'm just for honor, and this is what it is. Upholding of one's honor and conscience is the true way to lead one's life. How noble and good for everyone would life be if everyone before falling asleep were to consider exactly what he had done good or bad that day. Then, without realizing it, we should try to improve ourselves. And anyone can do this. And that's why I point to you. I've gone through life, bad and good.
I know you're big H, but did you think you're God?
I don't think I'm God. I think I'm an angel.
I know you're an angel. Actually, I nicknamed you Eliyahu, right? Eliyahu Hanavi.
We'll talk about that. But my point is you have to have a conscience. You have to have you have to be honorable. And even if you are defending somebody bad, and I went down with honor because I believe in my code of honor. And I believe that doing good is for yourself, not for other people. Of course, you have to do for other people, but it's really for yourself. Anyways, my joke before we start the show, and this is really one of my best jokes. I'm telling you, if you guys don't laugh, I'm in big trouble this week. Are you ready, Henry? Elliot, you better be ready. Hold on.
I'm ready.
Anyways, one weekend, I was working in the street. Okay, I'm a contractor, and a piece of 2x4 wood hit me on the head on a job site. Bang! And everybody thought I had a concussion. So Linda, my wife, didn't want me to be alone and quiet with the kids. So she took my son out of his room and put me and my little son Yaakov's. He was 6 years old at the time, to have a more quieter part of the house. And she put me in that room to rest. My wife Linda kept waking me up every hour all night long to keep checking on me. And every hour she woke me up, she shook me, she says, "What's your name?" So I kept saying Heshy, she kept waking every hour. She kept bothering me. "What's your name?" Finally, she came in at 5:00 in the morning and she saw something white on top of my head. And on top of my head, she saw a crayon written with a piece of paper, "Heshy, that's my name." This way she shouldn't bother me anymore.
Of course. That's actually really funny.
Oh, God, help me.
Not too bad.
It was great. Anyways, we have on our show tonight, Elliot Resnick. Okay, thank you. Just shut that off. You're wasting my airtime. Elliot, next. Are you ready? We got to keep going.
No, it's pretty funny.
That's not funny. Anyways, Elliot Resnick, I want to talk to you tonight. And Rachel, I want you to hear about Elliot. He's chief editor at the Jewish Press. This week, matter of fact, he has 2 articles in the Jewish Press, something about straight talk, about the East Bank and the West Bank. It's like, the West Bank in Israel?
That's like Bank of America and Wells Fargo.
No, Rachel.
Yes,
really.
Bank of America's on the East Coast. Wells Fargo's on the West Coast.
My co-hosts are made to make fun of you, if you understand. I'm the smart one on the show, Elliot. Okay, and then he has an article.
I'm the smart one off the show.
And then we have an article about Abraham Joshua Herschel, a very good thing. We're going to talk about that. But what I'm really excited about is this young man is an author called Movers and Shakers. About 60 articles that you interviewed people.
Yes, 60 interviews.
He wrote his own book. I'm trying to write a book and I can't even think about it where I'm old. I'm already
amazing.
600 and some pages. And
Can you tell us a little bit about your father when you have a chance? He was a researcher, wasn't he?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So, Elliot, tell us a little bit. First of all, tell us a little bit what you do before I come after you and attack the Jewish Press.
I've been at the Jewish Press now for 15 years, but I've been the editor for the last year and a half. And before I became the editor, I was mainly doing interviews, interviewing authors of books, heads of organizations, things of that nature. And
but isn't the Jewish Press I don't see a lot of local I mean, I do see you talking about a lot of local stuff, but you're more into Israel, always telling us about Israel. I mean, I have a lot of issues here in New York. I don't see the Jewish press talking about drug problems, drug issues of our kids on the street. I don't see the Jewish press defending. And now here's my big problem. You had an article in this last week's Jewish press about the Lady Hatzolah losing their ambulance. The big Hatzolah went after this. There's a Lady Hatzolah that starting by Judge, I forgot,
Ruchi
Fryer and her mother. And these guys went for the ambulance license, and Hatzolah got them not to get their license. And I told him, why don't you call me? Because I'm great in front of these places, and I would go fight for you. And I'm going to defend them the next time. Why isn't the Jewish press defending these women who, if you go to the 911 people, you see women EMTs, you see women doctors, women in the PAs in the hospitals. Hatzolah is ready to give all of those people licenses and let them work. But a couple of ladies that want to start helping, doing something more, creating their own little Hatzolah, we're going to stop them. And you know why? It's the money. And I blame the Jewish press, because you should be defending us little guys. You should come help us in our youth centers. You should come after our drug centers instead of taking pictures with Dov Hikind and all these rich people, all these politicians. All day long they're smiling like Carmen Yeager. All day long, Carmen Yeager and Felder, they're smiling. Last year in the Jewish press, you put in how Felder and Carmen Yeager made this big event on Sukkot on 18th Avenue. This year there was no event. Why? Because it's not an election year. You should have said, hey guys, what, really, it's not an election year, so the kids had nowhere to go Sukkot. You know what I mean? Because it's not an election year, and there was nowhere to steal money from. So whatever. So my buddies Felder and Yeager just were quiet, and the kids had nowhere to go. I want the Jewish press to be more into our local politics, not more to just to show us or advertisement, but to be upset, to be pissed that we have one drug center.
To be what?
To be upset. I'm sorry, I meant the wrong word.
Okay.
To be upset that we have one drug center.
Can I just say
two
one thing?
youth centers? No, but my point is,
I want
the Jewish press has been around a long time, and they have an obligation not only to make money, but to help us in our community, to make it a better community. You know, I go after one person at a time, but you have the power to help with the thousands, to inspire, and sometimes I read some of your articles in the Jewish press, and I actually feel you have this one thing, something about chizik or something, inspiration.
Heshy,
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask this time if I have permission to say something. Mr. Elliot Resnick is a very honorable man, and unlike me, he will not interrupt you until you give him the green light.
Well, I want to
So, if we have him here as a guest, we don't want to continuously speak before letting him know that he can speak.
Well, I was just asking him a question.
She's a very nice person.
Right,
How
she
did you
is.
get her on the show?
I don't know.
But that Ezra's Nushim
The Ezra's Nushim version.
they had a movie called 93 Queen. That was a really informative.
But that was for
nice
the
insight,
judge.
too.
Can you tell us about it?
But
Not everyone knows what 93 Queen is.
I don't want to do the movie. I want to ask Elliot. You are a person of the press, and as you know, Trump always says fake press, fake news. I'm sorry to tell you, but sometimes I see articles in the Jewish press that I'm not happy with.
All right, Heshy, we're not. We don't have eyes and ears everywhere. We have limited staff. We're in a certain way, we're a community paper. We rely on the community to help give us stories also to a certain extent. So when Kalman Yeager or whoever put on that Fair for Children wanted an event to be publicized, so they sent in press releases and they got us to cover it. If you want us to cover things, please help us out and tell us about things.
I will.
If you don't tell me about things, I'm not going to know about it. We don't have 25 reporters on the ground.
Well, when we were running for election 2 years ago, the Jewish press was supposed to sponsor one of our debates. It was the Hamadiyah that did at the end, and the Jewish press was supposed to sponsor it, but then Mr. Hikind was upset that the questions weren't asked properly, and the Jewish press supposedly was buddies with Mr. Hikind, so they ended up canceling the debate because you guys backed somebody.
Look, I don't deal with the politics. I deal with interesting stories.
But shouldn't
about.
the Jewish press be more like, not liberal, more like...
We try to do as much good as we possibly can. We do. We've helped many, many people over the years. We've helped many, many causes over the years.
You did?
Yes.
I've seen, but you're supposed to
The
be
writing
neutral.
is impeccable.
The writing, but you're supposed to be more neutral.
Exaggeration, but thank you.
But you're supposed to be, I like the cartoons. You have cartoons
Yes,
down
we
there?
do. I don't know what you're asking about. You're asking about news stories, feature stories,
I want
editorials.
you to-
Editorials is the only really place you could help people out and advocate for things. So I'm assuming that's what you're asking
Yes,
about. Our
yes.
editorials.
But shouldn't you have a section that deals with the community bad issues in our volunteering?
First of all, we do, but I don't think people really want to read about bad issues all day long. I really
I
don't.
think you're right.
I think it drags people down. People, you want to read about divorces all day long and drug problems all day long.
But I want to read about what we're going to do, because
at the end of the day, these are not these are problems. These are not the mainstream.
But
It's
at the
not
end of the
about-
day, if we don't fix these problems, then these people, but you're making us everybody happy and smiley. Lets my children sit on the street Saturday night with no homes to go. Has young girls committing suicide. Has no food for families on Shabbos. And I'm going to keep going. I'm now involved.
That's why you're here.
I'm involved with a divorce.
No, and that's why he's going to be councilman.
Okay, but
Okay,
my
good.
third, you know,
Amen.
Mr. Yeager got up in the city council. You want to hear this, Henry? And he got up and he votes no. And what did he vote no on? E-cigarettes. This is what our city council is wasting our time on. That we should ban all
Can I
e-cigarettes.
vape in here?
We did this last week. Was
Yeah,
this a rerun?
No, it's not. No. He
I love
voted.
Lucy reruns.
No, he voted no on
Just
Rikers.
enough Heshy reruns.
No. No, but he didn't vote no on Rikers. This last week he got up and voted no against vaping. And instead of
Well, I would also vote no against raping.
gosh help me, but it's not only the vaping that he voted no against. He said one line that we should fight about marijuana. When he got his 5
There's
minutes
a
of
caller.
fame,
Someone's
before you
interested in
call-
what we have to
when
say.
you got your 5 minutes, you can push the button. He should have screamed on his 5 minutes, stop the vaping. He could have said whatever he wanted and screamed about marijuana. And you know, in Borough Park, we have 2 marijuana dens and one in the Chaim Deutsch's area. You're on the air with Heshy, Elliott, and my whole crew of Henry, Rachel, Leah. I don't know. Everybody's on the phone. Who's calling? How are you?
Hi, I'm Avi from Manhattan.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. Listen, I'm going to keep pestering you until you change your clock. You're still.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Let's
We're going to change the clock this
now.
week.
I'm going to do it right now. You know why? Because Heshy is going to show the world that when people have requests, they're taken care of immediately.
Wow.
That's right. Actually, you're going to be the next councilman. You better get to work on it.
You got it. I'm trying to con the Jewish press to back me, but I'm in big trouble right
Okay,
now.
so let me tell you about the Jewish press. First of all, Rachel, I'm so glad you're back. You really add so much spice to the show. You really are a great co-host. Keep it up.
Thank you.
And that's number one. Number two,
Call
Heshy,
in every week, twice a week, and 3 times. Okay.
I will.
Here we go. At your service. Check out the clock.
I love the compliment. Okay. Anyway, so the things about the Jewish press, I want to make something very clear. The Jewish press is the best paper. I grew up with it, and they're the only paper that decided to buck the trend and face the issues that are bothering the Jewish people, drugs and everything, kids at risk. They were the first ones to do it. No other paper did what they do. And they have the Chronicles, Mrs. Bluth. She put issues there that no one would ever think about doing. So the Jewish press really deserves a lot of
Rachel
credit.
Bluth, I know her for many years, a wonderful lady. But really, you don't think that the Jewish press is more biased? They should be more neutral, or you just like what? I mean,
think
Elliot,
I
you're
I have
gonna
a
ask-
question for you, Elliot.
Sorry. Go
Is
ahead.
the Jewish press afraid to actually speak about controversial issues? For example, there's someone by the name of Aryeh Raubag. Everyone knows that he's a mafia based in, that you could pay him off and he'll make Keter Merabanim on fake Keter Merabanim, or say that there's one even if there isn't, that he'll go and beat up men. There was just now someone that they suspect he had something to do with. They hired someone to actually stab a man who wouldn't give a get to his wife, but they got the wrong man. So now it's a big problem.
Okay,
Investigation.
get to the
Would the
point.
Jewish press speak about such a thing, or are they afraid that they may need a favor from this rabbi because he has political pull? The chief rabbi of Israel's wife is a Ralbag. He has a cousin, Nat Lewin. Would they actually speak about this and be brave enough? By the way, your mother's my inspiration. That's why I just say whatever I feel like.
Good for you. Thank you. Look, the advantage of being young and not, I live in Washington Heights, which is a little bit of a bubble.
Where I grew up, right down the block from you.
That's right. So, and you had also an amazing father.
I have an amazing family. So 180.
I mean. So in any event, I don't have, like I said, Washington Heights is a little bit of a bubble. I don't have that many connections. The advantage of not having too many connections is that I don't have to be afraid of anybody. I really don't. I don't really have too many connections. I don't have to worry about upsetting people. I can do what I want and apologize later if I have to. But
what do you see? Where do you see the Jewish press in the future leading us? And first of all, thank you, caller. You're very one. Do you have any other questions for us, for anybody? Ami?
You're doing great. Just keep up the great work.
Thank you, baby. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Thank you.
I would
Good
say
job.
thank you. Good Shabbos, baby.
Good Shabbos,
So
and
where
thank
do
you.
Where do you see, Mr. Editor, that the Jewish press is going or leading us, or will lead us, or will it just be somebody just to report the news?
well, first of all, Heshy, you keep on saying we should be neutral, and now you're asking I should be more biased. So do you want me to be biased? or do you want me to be neutral?
Well, when I run for office, of course, I want you to endorse me. I mean, I'm looking for that.
Yes. Well, so I'm not sure which one you want, but my mission for the most part is to give readers the most interesting, material possible, and also to promote ideas that I think are true and good. That's my mission. So
Can you tell me about your article? What was your article this week about? Not the Heshy article, but about your East and West Bank stuff.
The East Bank. So I wrote that article for two reasons. Number one, I'm sick and tired of Jews always apologizing, defending, and being on the defensive. We didn't do this, we did that, we're sorry, we're willing to speak with the Arabs. The Arabs just don't want to speak with us. I hate all the defensiveness. I hate all the apologies. That's number one. Number
Is it
two,
the Arabs or is it the Muslims? Remember,
they're both
Wow.
not so great. Anyway,
wow.
By the way, Yossi Jacobson, I'm actually a really big fan of his.
Sure.
He's just was honored with saying the blessing for the president when he saw him, when he had his fundraiser. He said at a event one time, he said, if the speaker gets up and says, I don't know why they chose me, he wants to tell him, just sit right down, man. I don't know why they chose you either. Exactly. Stop apologizing. Stand up and speak up if you have something to say.
So that's number one. Number two, a lot of Zionists say we shouldn't call it the West Bank. We should call it Judea and Samaria, Yehuda and Shomron. We shouldn't call it the West Bank.
Right.
Historically, it is called Yehuda and Shomron, Judea and Samaria. But I think West Bank is a very Zionist term. Why? Because when you say West Bank, it reminds you of the East Bank, which was the territory given by Moshe Rabbeinu to Reuven, Gad, and half of the
Moses gave it to the tribes.
Right, so that's ours. It might be controlled by Jordan right now, but it's really ours. So every time I say West Bank, I think about the East Bank. So, and the Irgun, that was one of their mottos, and the revisionist Zionists under Jabotinsky. They wanted both the West Bank and the East Bank. And the original British mandate was for both, the East Bank and the West Bank. So I think we shouldn't give up on the East Bank. And I think just like the Arabs say, no, we want land for peace, and we're not going to, stop killing you until you give us land. Maybe we should do the same. Maybe we should say, you know what? We'll be willing to sit down with you, but we want the East Bank first. They can play the game Land for Peace. Why can't we play the same game of Land for Peace? So let's go on the offensive a little
My
bit.
question too is, and I love that we have a country of Israel and that the Jews have a place to go. But to me, and I'm going to just give you my theory because I like to have a world of peace. In my neighborhood in Borough Park, we have a lot of Jews, but I have no problem with non-Jews living there. I have no problem with, we have some Muslim people, Spanish people there. And I believe in a world that we should be at peace and live together with our neighbors.
Amen. But when a bully beats you up, how do you get peace with a bully?
Right. You have
By
to
beating
fight
him up
back
twice
the
as
bully.
hard, then he'll be your best friend.
Correct.
Well, you know what? As Golda Meir said, until they're good, their hate for us is more than their love for their children, there will be no peace.
Right, but for them, their way of loving their children is by attacking the Jews, because they live for this. This is their idealism. Just like we have our ideals, their ideals is to fight for the next 300 years until they get their land back.
Well, I hope
Mir
not.
Khan used to always say that, we always tell the Arabs, we made this desert into a garden. And the Arabs reply, yes, but now it's your garden and it used to be our desert.
Right.
I want to ask you, okay, got you. I
Thank
hear
you
you.
for that.
By the way, I have you been to Israel?
Yes,
How many times?
a few.
And
How many is a few?
Okay, it doesn't make a difference.
I
3,
know.
4. But
It makes a
do you know
difference.
how to get you? Have you gone seen the whole country, like the churches as well as the religious places and different towns and areas of that country? Like I'm talking the poor and the rich, the Muslim and the Jew.
I'm
One minute.
interested in
The
that
Muslims
part.
are
I'm
not-
interested. It's a Jewish country. I'm interested in the Jewish portions of it.
Good for you.
But the whole beauty of Israel is that it allows every nation, every religion there.
Why is that beautiful? It's beautiful when a Jew marries an Arab. Every single year, there are Jewish women who marry Arab men because they fall for them. Because Arab men, they basically.
I thought you said they hate us.
Yes, they do hate us, but some of them also have a Yetzer Hara, an evil inclination. They see a very pretty Jewish girl and they seduce them. And then 2-3 years later, the Jewish girl finds herself in an Arab village and she wants out, but it's too late at that point. And there are Jewish organizations in Israel devoted to helping these women and their children escape.
Really?
It's a Jewish country. It's made for Jews. We didn't
So
come back to our land.
you're telling me Rome is made for only the Christians. We can't go hang out there or live there.
Well, the Vatican is made for Christians. That's
I
correct.
got you. The church is made for
Israel is very, very, very
Heshy,
tiny land.
tiny. Israel is tiny.
It's okay if there's one Jewish country in the world. It's okay. And if there might be a few Christian countries in the world also, I'm okay with that too.
Okay. So I want to go to another subject. As you know, we have a president called Donald Trump.
Yes,
I'm not going to ask you if you like him or you don't, but you can answer if you want.
I
Do
like
you?
him. Yes.
Good. So do I. So today we have, as you know, the impeachment stupidity that's going on.
Yes.
And little Mr. Fat Nadler, who I
Yes.
call a Nazi for some reason.
Oh,
because
you're not allowed
Okay,
to
not
call
a
him
Nazi. Can I call him a capo? Because he's a traitor to the
Sure.
Jews. Okay, good. Mr. Nadler, that idiot, is going to be writing up articles on impeachment. Now, first of all, everybody, you can call Mr. Nadler's office. I have his private number 202-255-5635, 202-255-5635. Don't protest the impeachment hearings. Just call them up and say you're a fat capo.
Private number gone not so private.
It's not bad. It's his office number, 202-255-5635.
And do call. They pay attention, by the way.
Yeah, they do?
Yes.
I know.
Emails, calls. People think, they complain around their Shabbos table to 2 people. They can write a letter to the editor or an email, which will be read by thousands of people. They don't bother.
Wow. You see, and you could do that to the Jewish press, and they do look through. I do see a lot of little editorials and little response. I like that. I do read them all the time in your paper.
Victor,
You're on the air.
Hello?
Hello, you're on the air with Heshy and Elliot, and Rachel just pushed the button and shocked us. Go ahead.
Good evening to all of you, especially you, Big H. This is Eddie from Dyker Heights.
Eddie, we love you, Eddie.
Love you.
Rachel loves you. She talks about you the whole week.
I did.
By the way, I'm very upset with you, Eddie, and I'm very upset with Rachel. And I have a young lady, my banker, Summer, a very nice girl in Chase Bank of 48th Street. She needs a man. She's a young girl. She said she has somebody. I invited all of you guys for Thanksgiving dinner. We had 50 people. We had so much food left over. I wasn't scared, and they didn't show up. Rachel didn't show up. She must have been sleeping.
No, I definitely don't sleep. I slept 3 hours.
She was there in spirit.
It wasn't
I
last
made
night.
my own Thanksgiving
It wasn't
dinner.
last night. It was last week.
I know. I made my own Thanksgiving dinner. And one of the things I was thankful for is this wonderful radio show, which is something I look forward to every single week. And Big H.
Let Eddie
and
talk.
meeting people like Elliot, and Ellie, I think, wants to say a few
Elliot,
words,
not
too.
Ellie. That's Henry. But
Henry.
Eddie, talk to us.
Okay, you were bringing up the Nadler Inquisition today.
Yes.
And one of the esteemed, and I say that sarcastically, law professors was a Noah Feldman from Harvard.
Terrible
Yes.
person.
Terrible.
Okay, good. Listen, Heshy, now there's no sense going any further into that. A quick question for you. Today I had occasion to drive along 11th Avenue, and I've done that over the course of 30, 40 years. But between 60th and 46th Street, it seems like the buildings are getting higher and higher. It's getting like you're almost in a canyon sometimes. What's going on there with the building? 11th Avenue between 60th and 46th Street.
That's you're looking in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, Brooklyn, of course.
So I want
Eddie, do you know who owns those buildings? Big H. I'm just kidding.
No, stop it. And let me tell you, Eddie, I am, and this is why I'm very angry with our councilmen and assembly and so on. We have no place to live. So they tell us, well, move out of the neighborhood, move to Jersey, move to Washington Heights. Let me tell you something. I like when my kids are near me. People don't want their family to be spread out. You know, I was thinking many years to go to Florida, which I'm still thinking to move to Florida. But my point is, my wife is right. We want our children around us. We want to be able to visit our family. We build a family. Some of us don't have many, 3 or 4 or 5, especially a family that was destroyed in the war and they came back strong. We want our kids around us. We want to be near them. So we are building our buildings higher. We are building. Yeah. We're trying to squeeze in as much as possible. And yes, when I get into the city council, if you ever watch the city council channel, they're always changing zoning laws for other neighborhoods, for other queens, for people who have money. We need to change our zoning laws for people who actually need it. You know, we're right now trying to screw all the landlords with rentals. By the way, you should write something about that. Your city council, your assembly now has changed the rent laws. So now a lot of landlords, instead of renting to the cheaper people, they're going to say, I'm not going to rent anymore because I'm going to get screwed by the city. They're changing the laws. They're making us file new paperwork, C of Os, spend dollars. Our tenants could sue us for 15 years back. We can't raise our rent, only whatever the city wants, and we can't cover our mortgages. So I believe that if we worked with the landlords and created new housing, and then also created low-income housing, which we were doing for many years. But then this de Blasio got so greedy. After we created low-income housing, he saw that, hey, he was able to beat the landlords. He went crazy and said to the landlords, now you can't rent anymore at all. We're going to control your buildings. This is unacceptable. You should look into this. They're changing the rent laws. They're making them crazy. Now they're telling us, well, you can't rent a commercial store only for the price we tell you because you're putting people out of business. I'm sorry, my friend, but there is no space out there, and the people who can do business raise your rates. And when you're in demand, if your product is not in demand, you can't be in business. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You shouldn't try and compete. But people, if you look at your police department, they're arresting people who are selling stuff on the street without a license, or in the train station, somebody who made some product. I'm sure a little girl who sells lemonade on the corner, and we've heard the story many times, they take her away her product or arrest her because she doesn't have a license. This is the city we live in, which is stupidity. Yes, I don't mind those buildings going bigger because there's no place for my children to live. My future neighbors are having children. I want people to have affordable housing. I want to work with the landlords to create buildings that 20% of the building goes to affordable housing and the rest let the landlords make money.
All right, but Heshy, to keep bear in mind, it's gonna end up looking like Hong Kong. Between there and other places in our section of Brooklyn, more and more buildings, higher and higher. It's not like the part of Brooklyn that I've always lived in.
Well, you're right, Eddie, and I just want you to know something that we are.
We have another call, so just hold that for 1 minute.
He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. I just want you to
Hello,
know.
you're on the air.
Hello, Heshy?
Yeah, you're still on the air with us. But I just want you to know something, Eddie. It's not the point of the other call. I'm just going to finish up with you. Even though you're right, we are building in Bushwick today. We are expanding the Bronx. We are going to Queens. But again, every neighborhood has to take care of their own people. And if you look over there by 11th Avenue, you have a lot of Chinese people coming in.
Absolutely, especially, yes.
And I have no problem having a nice community neighborhood getting better and bigger. Thank you, Eddie, for your call.
Your joke was funny.
I love you. You're the only good caller I had today. Pick up the next call.
The next call.
Hello. You're on the air with Heshy and Elliot and Rachel.
And Leah.
And Leah, of course.
Of course. Well, Big H, you have an all-star cast tonight. And Elliot Resnick is top notch.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
And we were very close many years ago in Washington Heights. Still close.
Who's calling?
Who's calling? The Bernstein family.
Oh, wow. It's your mother?
I can't say.
She promised to help me get elected. She was going to help me run my campaign.
Did you tell the audience the story of your father when he was mugged?
No, and I was hoping you would.
That is a great story. My mother used to repeat this for years. Her father, Washington Heights, used to not be the safest neighborhood in the world.
Yes.
A man walked over to him with a gun or a knife. Which one was
Gun.
it? A gun. And he says, "Give me all your money." Her father turns around and screams, "Ein oid movadoi." There's no one in the world except God. The guy looks at him. He thought he was crazy, so he ran away. Now, most apartment buildings have a double door. He gets to the second door. The guy had a change of heart. He comes back, again says, "Give me all your money." Her father turns around again and says, "Ein oid movadoi." And that's it. The guy, her father must definitely be crazy. And he ran away. This is the story of her father. This is the person you have on your show, on your set, every single week.
I'm going to have to do that when they rob me. Or I'm just.
No, I hope they will never
It
rob
means that
you.
if you really believe, God helps you out.
That's right,
Wow.
100%.
Well, because most people wouldn't do that. They don't believe to the point that they would do that. He did.
Wow. Very nice.
There's a continuation to the story. I'll tell you off the air.
Well, Mrs.
Okay.
Bernstein.
Thank you, Elliot. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Bernstein, I hear good things about you, and I spoke to you once or twice, and I want you to know I'm going to keep you're going to keep your promise. You're going to help me get elected not because I want to just be elected. I don't need to be elected for the fame. I need to be elected because I think we can do more. I think I can help more than the few people I am, and this is my pitch to you people. I'm a regular guy, and a regular guy understands the people in the street. Yes, Elliot, I'm pitching my campaign a year early. But you know what? You were sitting there today, and people come in. Sometimes just a regular guy who's been on the street can understand more what you need, a place to live, a meal to eat. I remember being a kid and my mother just opening the door and feeding somebody, and they were so happy. They didn't need the $500. Of course, they need the money and stuff, but sometimes a nice meal, well-placed, being treated. Sometimes I have guests in my house, and you know how when you're a guest in somebody's house, you're sitting in the corner, right, Mrs. Bernstein, and they don't want to eat, and they're embarrassed. Really, the truth of the matter is they want to be taken care of. They want to be fed. Maybe they want to be left alone. Sometimes I don't even talk to them. But sometimes a nice, good, hot meal with a conversation and being lost in the middle of nowhere land, that is all they need.
That pea soup? That's from Mrs. Bernstein's house.
Yes, I'm going to eat that pea soup because I'm hungry. Linda didn't cook today. We don't have a kitchen.
Are you doing renovations?
I'm helping. You see, my beautiful wife of almost 30 years, who's always defended me. And I told her many times I'm crazy. And for some reason, she's still with me, right?
It's unbelievable. That's because you're just not crazy at all.
Okay. So anyways, this girl, I took away her kitchen this week, and I wanted to make a gift for her for sticking with me. And basically, she hasn't stopped complaining. Why did you do this? Why did you rip apart my? I said, I'm making you a beautiful kitchen. She'll appreciate it at the end. Women are just never happy. I'll tell you something.
Heshy.
Yes.
Some newspaper person once told the Rebbe that people say you're crazy. And the Rebbe said, I'm crazy for Mashiach.
Wow. Okay, another Lubavitcher story. Anyways, Mr. Bernstein, you are wonderful.
We have hijacked the show tonight.
Thank you for calling in. You're a wonderful girl. We're going to talk to you some more.
By the way, let me ask you, Heshy, because you want to run for council, you want to put on all
Ma,
these great
thanks for
shows.
calling in.
Okay.
A lot of conservatives say, I really believe it, when you help people one-on-one, you have personal contact, it's much better. You also can give them tough love when they need tough love. A lot of these impersonal government programs, you just throw money at these people, impersonal, you get a check in the mail. It often winds up not working. You think you're doing good, but it often winds up not working because it's lacking the personal touch. In a certain way, I wonder if you're doing more good now when you have this personal contact than you might be if you're
right. So my constituents and a couple of my clients all telling me, Heshy, you can't leave because you're going to lose it. You're going to be one of them. I'll be honest with you, they don't know how to do their job. You are right. It does get impersonal when you're throwing money at organizations. These guys think that they can walk into their office, these politicians. I mean, you can check on Jaeger or Dov Heiken. I used to see them strolling in at 10:30, 11. Our district leader, you can never get on the phone before 12 o'clock. Simcha Felder, you can't even find 3 days a week, okay? My point to you is you're right. These guys get up there, they make a bill, they make a deal with the other guy just so they can look big. I am not going to do that. I am going to micromanage like I micromanage my office. I'm going to try. I know I can't do one-on-one, but I can't sit there and let thousands of people. The one-on-one story is good, but I believe that I can throw the money, watch it, and again, at least supervise and speak to other people. I'm a good salesman. I could talk to the other 50 members in the city council and say, listen, guys, you just can't sit here and issue bills and make legislation. We've got to help the people. We should go after the organizations, after the building department that there's nobody watching them, no policing. The police department that has no policing. We hire a new commissioner. All the councilmen, Mr. Yeager, Mr. Felder, they all showed up at his inauguration. Another picture, another dinner. You should be sitting in your office. Do you know, you saw my phones ringing. If I was busy taking pictures and going to dinners all the time, I wouldn't be able to help the people. And that's why the people are not getting help, because they're never in their offices doing their job.
Look, I wish you luck. I just think often you can do more good on the local level than you can do on the
I need to expand, because I see so much bitter strife, and I know that I can do so much when I know that I think I could solve the problems. Right. I have another topic.
At the same time, though, Elliot, I would say that you're 100% right that sometimes you can accomplish more on the more personal level. However, once Heshy will get elected, people will know to call him, and then he could accomplish even more.
By the way, I plan on getting businessmen involved to help me, because I get jobs for people that come out of jail. I'm going to make an organization of businessmen just to give out volunteer jobs. I'm going to give out organizations where we go to different stores and collect food for the poor every week.
You're going to make great again.
I'm going to make, you know what? That's I will. And I'm going to try to let Bloomberg get elected, because he spent $15 million. But thank God Kamala, that crazy wacko Harris, jumped out. What's her name? Kamala what? Kamala Harris. She dropped out of the race. She's just wacko.
Every single one of her 17 followers was very disappointed.
I know. You're on the air with Heshy, Elliot, Rachel, Leah, and Henry.
Okay, good evening. I wanted to compliment your guest, Mr. Resnick, on his stewardship of the Jewish press, and maybe one topic you should talk about. Heshy, I don't know if you're aware that a few months ago, there was an attempt to silence Mr. Resnick on Twitter or whatever. Some left-wing characters, troublemakers, try to stifle free speech, his free speech, and in general. So this should be addressed. That's one thing. Also, I do want to say that I was surprised to hear one of your co-hosts a few minutes ago made some remarks and named a certain rabbi, I think, and she said everybody knows, whatever. Now, this, your host, your young co-hostess there seems talented.
1 minute, are you trying to silence me, just like they were trying to silence Mr. Resnick?
I'm not silencing you, I'm questioning you.
Sure, I'm up on the witness stand. Let's go. Ask me, don't ask Heshy. I'd like you to ask me. I'm up for it.
If you want to have a future in journalism, maybe in yellow journalism, you have a future making comments based on rumors. But
it's not a rumor. I myself experienced it. He went and spread about me that there was a heter me'arabanim. My ex-husband at the time was stopped at the border in Israel. arrested and actually admitted that there was none on the record.
Okay,
So I'm
anyway,
glad
the
that you're
point is-
interviewing me, and I'm glad I got a chance to speak
Okay.
about this openly.
Okay,
They're
both
putting you
have-
off the air now, so
okay,
have
we
a
both-
wonderful
stop.
evening.
Okay, but Mr. Elliott,
That's just a side point there that you have to document, not just.
okay, you do have. He's right, but Elliot, what happened? I did. This man is very interesting. Did they try to stifle you? They try to stop you from talking?
As you know, the radical left could be extremely vicious.
Correct.
And then among the radical left, the homosexual lobby is particularly vicious. So they didn't like the fact that we had published an article which was attacking the Pride Parade in New York. And because they didn't like that, they tried to get me fired.
Really?
Yeah.
What about? So you're a big Israel man. Why didn't you fight the gay pride parade in Israel?
We did. We published articles against it.
Good for you.
Wow.
You have 10
But
hands
do you
and
believe?
fingers.
Do you believe?
You
that
have
the
all
gay-
my votes.
You believe the gay community is that powerful?
100%.
Yes, basically.
Were there other magazines and publications coming out against you individually, or was it individual private people?
It was private people, but they got the ADL to come out against us.
The ADL?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God!
Yes, they got the ADL to come out with a statement against the Jewish press
Wow.
because we dared publish an article that represented the Torah viewpoint on homosexuality.
Now, there's a gay guy, Buttigieg, running. Again, I asked this to everybody. He wants to be president. Is the country ready for a gay president? I mean, does it bother you that he's gay? Would it bother you that
Yes,
a
of course
president
it
is
would
gay?
bother me.
Why? He's president. Who cares
I
what
know,
his
what-
sexual preferences are?
Would it bother you if he was a philanderer, if he was married to 3 women?
Yes, it would.
Okay, so the same reason it bothers me. These are all sexual crimes according to the Torah. And it's not a sexual crime which he's doing privately in secret. It's a sexual crime which he's doing openly.
But it's not a crime against the Constitution.
It was a crime against morality.
So a person who's not morally correct should not be president of the
No,
United
you could be
States.
imperfect, but if you're brazenly and openly defiant of biblical morality, yes, I do have a problem with that.
There's a program called Footsteps, and these guys openly go against moral of the community. They try to influence young minds, religious people to leave their religion, whether they're Jewish or not, and they are just incorrect. Why don't we shut them down? Why aren't we against them?
We are against them, I think. aren't
Have
we?
you written an article against Footsteps?
I don't know. I've been the editor for the last year and a half. Last year and a half, we have not. Before that, I can't tell
I
you.
had them on the show.
But why?
They are just nuts in their brain.
Yes.
And they're looking to turn things over. They're into the homosexuality game. They're into taking people away from their religion. I don't mind them giving education or somebody wanting to take a breather of their religion. Not a breather, but, to look outside the box. But again, they want people just to be destroyed.
I agree with you. I think they claim they're only helping people who are
You're on the air.
Good timing.
You got to shut
Hello?
up. You got to shut off your radio.
Hello, please tell Big H that the gay community got Dr. Laura off the air. They are very powerful, and they come out strong against anyone who says anything against them.
They don't really have the numbers. What they do have, though, is anytime they say anything, the whole Democratic Party jumps. I think 2 months ago, it's not homosexuality, but it's another indication of how much power the far left has. They were selling Halloween costumes, little princess dresses in, I think it was Kmart. Someone started a petition, how dare you sell little bride dresses, like a Queen Esther type dress, because in Africa, there are Muslim men who are marrying 8-year-old child brides.
Oh my God.
So by selling a princess uniform here in America for Halloween, you are somehow supporting child brides in Africa, older men marrying child brides in Africa. And Kmart, I think this petition got 200 signatures. Kmart took down their princess costumes. So you could have costumes that are extremely inappropriate of all sorts, but you can't carry a little princess costume.
And vulgar.
Right, exactly, because the far left complain. Anytime the far left complains, the Democratic Party jumps.
Wow.
And this is the problem.
Thank you for
and
your-
she's right. They got Dr. Laura off there.
Thank you, caller, for your call. I appreciate it.
The environmental agenda, just from the left side, does often come into my life too. So I hear you about that.
Let's take another caller. Caller, you're on there with Heshy, Elliot, Rachel, and everybody else.
Yeah, hi, how are you? This is David calling in from Canada. I want to tell you guys, first of all, Big H, you're the best. There's no question. I mean, I listened to you guys for a very long time. I got to tell you about this Elliot Resnick guy. He's totally with him, and I agree with everything the guy says. But what I really want to talk about is Rachel, who's on this show every week. I don't know where she gets her knowledge from or where she gets what she's talking about, but that girl's got it going. There's no question. Everything she says, she's back and she's spot on. But I want to talk to you about. Go ahead.
Thank you for calling in. Thank you for the compliments.
Well, we got only a couple minutes. Thank you for your
love fest
call.
tonight.
Yeah, I know.
What would you like to
I
see
can't believe it.
changed, Mr. David?
What I want to talk about.
Sure.
I want to talk about them, but I'm concerned because I know Heshy. I don't want to change the talking points, especially when you have this wonderful guy, Elliot Resnick. I wanted to ask you about he's from the Jewish press, correct?
Yes.
So I have a question, if you don't mind, about I noticed you have something about the syrup. You put a syrup in the paper. It's in, for many years already. You've had those.
That's correct.
So I'm curious to understand.
What is a sieve? A sieve is a section of the paper where it embarrasses men for not giving their wives gets. And
No, I think it's actually any person who refuses to come to Beis Din. Supposedly, siruv means on fire.
No.
So you put them on fire,
I know that,
correct?
but this section is
no. It means fire. I thought it meant
No,
refusal.
listarev din, is actually, you're right.
But it makes no
Is
difference.
someone who refuses.
to appear in front of the court. The court
Yes.
summons you, and you
That's
refuse to
right.
go.
I don't know why there was a fire for a
So
minute.
there's two things. First of all, I wanted to know if it's possible maybe to move it in a more noticeable place. People are reading, if you have a nice geschmacka op-ed that somebody's reading, right next to it should be there. So it should be more noticeable. I'm not Chasasham saying that it's not, obviously it's a beautiful zach that you guys do it. But maybe if it can be put in a more noticeable place and more people can be aware of it. And also, I want to understand.
Where is it located right now?
So,
go ahead.
Somewhere in the 40s, roughly.
Right. So maybe it should be closer to the earlier numbers where people actually open up the first 2, 3, 4 pages. I know that's like high priced real estate.
Right.
But I just feel it'd be more effective or at least maybe to put a spot inside showing them that if you're looking, that at least it should catch the people's eye. But I also want to know, what about all the women who don't want to accept Gittin? Is there any way we could put a list of those people? If there's a way to prove of the ones who are not accepting Gittin?
Thank you for your call, David. Thank you, and Elliot will answer.
In short, the Serif column preceded me, and a certain person among the ownership family is very involved in it. So I will definitely pass along your suggestions. The first suggestion to put it further up in the paper, I will definitely pass it along. The second question, it's a good question. You're right. All the attention always goes on the evil men, and there are many of them. There are also evil women out there, and very few people pay attention to them. And that's true. There was a movie.
I wouldn't say that they're evil men or evil women. I would say that they're misguided, because often in time when people go through a divorce, they have their friends who are fighting their own previous fights or trying to be the heroes or trying to make money like lawyers do, rabbis do as well. We know that there's a certain section in the Old Testament and the Bible and the Torah that says that money blinds the eyes of righteous men, how much more so than not righteous men. So I would be careful to not call them evil. I would say their actions are evil and their suggestions are evil. But go ahead.
No, I'm a little bit less politically correct than you are. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I also think that for single girls that don't accept ketubah,
Single girls, only married girls have to not.
Well,
why do you
have to say, Henry?
I said that they should accept ketubahs.
What do you mean?
Not getting, but ketubahs.
They should get married, in other words. He's giving everyone a blessing.
But I want
nice.
Blessing on your head.
But today, my son and both of my sons who got married, they signed prenuptial agreements.
That's right. And I
they
think
have
that's very
to give
important.
and I want, even though it's not so enforceable, but it is. And today, I believe that all people who are getting married should sign this prenuptial agreement. That if the girl wants to get, you got to give it without any questions asked.
I actually think that the New York State judge and law now can require in settlement. I know, not I think, a spouse to give or accept a get.
I think the Jewish
And
press
it's
was behind
amazing.
that. I think.
Yes, and it's
in 92,
excellent.
I believe.
And I actually think that no one should go to Beis Din. They're almost all corrupt, and that's very politically incorrect. You cannot trust them. There is so much corruption, and I think everyone should go. There's less fighting in court, a little more expensive initially, but the Beis Dins drag people out.
Got you against the
And
Benz.
yes,
Next
100%.
subject. I want to get into another subject.
It is sad. It's really sad.
Before
I haven't found a true and honest Beis Din yet.
Me
And my
too.
father's a Talmud Chacham. You know him. I've learned with him since I'm
Rachel,
5 years
we
old.
got you, Rachel.
And
Your
thanks
subject-
for getting me.
Your time is up, but I also am against Bezdins. I believe they're all corrupt, all of them across the board. I really do. I've gone to a few. One or two tricked me to show up over there.
There are
And
some
I'm
honest
against-
rabbis out there. I don't believe
the
that.
rabbis are honest, but the Bezdins are no good. I know of one good Bezdin in Benson.
Not every court is good. Also,
I know.
That's right.
Most
That's
judges, I
100%
believe.
right.
I was just.
But they're more afraid of being caught.
You know, when I was in court the other week and I was telling the judge in front of the entire courtroom, all lawyers are just idiots and fools. And I said to her, I said, these guys are just here to play the game, to postpone, to charge us more money. And I said, I know how to beat them. I just have to go up against them. They're all liars and they're all out to screw you. And every time you think you're talking to a nice lawyer who's telling you the truth, or the other side, just sign this paper. These guys are just idiots. Most lawyers deserve to sleep in a moldy basement closet. That's where they belong. Anyways, except for my.
And you're going to get the zoning for it, right?
That's
In
right.
Green Line Solutions.
I want to ask you a question. You work in Borough Park,
Yes.
correct? You see the parking and the driving situation, even though you're
I
working
take
on.
the subway.
I got you, but it's just a madhouse. How come Mr. Councilman Yeager and Mr. Crazy Dove Hyken, who switched all the turning, on Ocean Parkway, you can't turn for like 12 blocks. If you want to turn, you have to drive 40 blocks out of your way. These guys have no idea how to control the parking. There's no parking. There's double parking. Driving 7 blocks could take you a half hour sometimes. This morning, I was driving to an inspection, and it told me you're stuck in 7 minutes of traffic. I was only on 50th Street and 13th Avenue trying to go a couple of blocks. No control of it. It's just, why hasn't the city come up with an idea? Instead, we now find out that we're going to have congestion pricing, congestion taxing in the city. That means if you're about lower than 60th Street, you have to pay another toll. So people are going to find a way to park uptown and take a train like you downtown. They're now going to tax everybody all over the place. Shouldn't our councilmen and politicians sit down together and come up with an idea, which I do have an idea for Borough Park.
By the way, Leah actually read a very
You should write an op-ed and look into it and research about our local
Actually, how about
driving
this?
park.
You write the article, I'll publish it.
Done. I will do that.
And
You
Leah
got
just
it.
wanted to say a word. She read a very interesting article to give hope for our youth about a 20-year-old that got elected to office. So here she is.
Oh, wow. Hello. So I was reading it actually in the news right before I came in that this 20-year-old girl in college, which is very impressive college, and was elected to the city office in Iowa, which is very impressive.
A little town
Yeah, tiny town in
with
Iowa.
7 people.
No, like 700 people, but
Okay. Even I got more. Even I got more than 700 votes.
even you, wow.
Yeah.
It's a good start.
But
It's a good start.
It's good to see that our youth can make a difference.
They should, and I do fight that the youth should make a difference.
Yes.
Thank you, Leah.
Yeah, but I want
Amen.
you. But Elliot, again, I would like, not that I will like. I love the Jewish press, and again, and I like your ideas that you're a paper and you want to do inspirational stuff. But again, I think you should deepen more. I think you should delve in more into one serious issue. Drugs for my young
Actually, we
kids
do a
today.
lot of, the old joke where to a hammer, the whole world is a nail.
Yeah.
So for you, everything is the radar screen that you see all day long. All important work, but that's only some of the problems. There are many problems. We try to cover as many problems as we can. Please write an op-ed and I'll publish it.
You got it. I like this guy. Plus, he's good looking, everybody. He's 36 years old, not married yet. I know he says he has somebody on the side there.
He does not have anyone on the side.
I know that he's lying. I wanted to set
The
him
word
up.
on the side is not the best.
I
phrase.
wanted at the side.
She's trying to
Not this.
say.
I didn't mean that. He's a good Jewish, but I wanted to set him up with
No.
Leah. My niece Leah.
I don't know if he's very special.
I'm sure
I know that.
Very protective
sure
over
you're-
the Resnick.
Thank you. And I'm sure your niece was just thrilled by that comment there.
Leah, this boy is perfect. What you wanted, and he's emotionally. What did you want? Emotionally
Stable, what they say.
stay right.
She's a psychologist. She's going to do an analyzation.
She's gonna make him crazy. Oh God!
I mean, pretend that-
Let me write my article.
Anyway, shout out to Mira Navi.
Yeah, I didn't. I said in the beginning of the show, and maybe I will write my article first so he can publish it. Then I'll set him up with Leah.
If she's lucky.
Anyways, everybody,
Please, thank you.
Hanukkah is
Very
coming.
nice.
My house is open to all of you again, even if you don't want to come. My wife does not cook that good, so we'll be making.
That's why we're decorating her kitchen.
Right, so we're going to be making corned beef pastrami sandwiches with a lot of donuts that I'm going to buy. So come by for a sandwich and a donut, and maybe we'll have
Corned
a
beef pastrami donuts?
corned beef not sandwich. Come on, Leah. I mean, Rachel, even I'm not that crazy, but that was a good joke. By
That's
the way.
actually a good idea.
That's the only first time I think I laughed at your joke. Anyways, everybody, we're coming to the end of the show. I want to thank first I want to thank Elliot Resnick, wonderful, good-looking man.
Smart.
Rachel, you are beautiful. You weren't too late today, as always. And Henry,
Do you know what
you
happened?
talk too much.
He's a
Also
good
good
listener.
looking.
Also good-looking.
Definitely.
By the way, Henry's
You know
looking,
what women like good listeners.
right, and Henry's looking for a nice girl as well. We're gonna have to set him up.
And since Elliot comes from Washington Heights, you know the joke. What happens when a yeke marries a Lubavitcher.
What?
Mashiach comes exactly on time.
Okay, bad joke. Anyways, we have Fallon's. We have Fallon's dress shop.
I
Fallon's
thought it was
Corp.
good. I'm going to go coin that laughter again that we used when everyone laughed at your joke.
I got 1 minute. Fallon's Corp, 3132 Bedford Avenue. Ask Faggy, tell her Uncle Heshy told you to come. She'll give you 10% off. Beautiful clothing for adults and teenagers. 3132 Bedford Avenue. Wolf's Grocery, located at 2362 Nostrand Avenue. My boy, 718-252-1863. Free deliveries for all your grocery needs. We have Green Line Building Solutions, located on the corner of 16th Avenue, 54th Street. Pop in, call me, 718-871-0382. All building problems, ttstyles.com. Tehila Tishler, 718-675-6842. Again, of course, we have 77 Barbershop, 4225 18th Avenue, 718-484-2499. And, of course, Chamula Jewelers. What do they have?
The sparkle for you. And don't forget, prepare your laughter for next week.
718-336-1980, 718-336-1980, 944 Kings Highway. We have $25 rent-a-car on 18th Avenue and Coney Island Avenue, 718-851-2000. Thank you for listening to our show. Thank you, Elliot. Thank you, Rachel. Come back next week. We'll see you around. Wonderful.
You reflect those of AM